Welcome everyone to our talk on creating intelligent applications with Appian AI Skills. I'd like to start with a show of hands. Has anybody ever cooked a holiday meal or an important family gathering in your kitchen at home? Yeah, most everybody. Has the aftermath ever looked something like this, right? It can be a little overwhelming. It can be a little out of control. Believe it or not, sometimes your business data may feel a similar way, right? Like this cluttered kitchen makes it hard to cook a nice meal. It can be really hard to use unstructured data to find business insights. And buried in that mountain of data could be an important insight for your business. Now, how do we get to it? What if we had a nice clean kitchen? Right? Like looking at that transition, it's like, whew, imagine if your data could be transformed like this kitchen was, organized, easy to navigate, your tools are in their place. The AI skills can help do that for AI, for your business data. Not only do they structure that unstructured data, but they help you get to work or cook dishes more efficiently. The ingredients and tools are easy to get to. And so think of the AI skill like a team of cooking helpers organizing your business data, or in this case, your kitchen tools, so you can cook dishes or create business insights for your customers or users faster. So that's what we're going to talk about today, the AI skill, its capabilities, its evolution, and some upcoming features that we have. We're going to do a deep dive into several of those AI skills, training them and embedding them in a workflow. And then we're going to have Sentry Fire, Sentry Fire protection. We have Braden Hetzel and Alex Shagnosky here to talk about the Sentry Fire protection project and that you heard about at the keynote today, a bit more details about that project and the successes they saw. And then finally, we'll leave you with a few next steps and we'll have a Q&A. So the AI skill is a no-code way to train AI models and embed them within your workflow. You don't need engineering or machine learning skill sets to do this. It's an Appian design object that you can use like any other Appian design object. They help meet automation use cases. So use cases previously met by manual work can be now met with these AI skills. Private AI, with a private and secure option within Appian, it eliminates the need to integrate with a third party to access these AI capabilities, which really make it easy for customers to access this and makes it very quick. We'll see that in the demo, a full end-to-end of creating 2 AI skills. And expansive, you heard today, we're expanding this to many new types of AI skills. I'll go through many of those in a second. So what are the AI skills? What do they do? The AI skills help automate common business activities. So the first one there is document classification. That is, sorry about that. If you have a document stream coming in, routing those important documents, maybe it's invoices versus purchase orders, maybe it's different classes of invoices from different vendors. Reducing that manual workload of having to open each document and route it to the correct team. Email classification is very similar, but working with email data, of course. So routing those, maybe it's a support case, routing it to a specific team. Document extraction. So if you've been watching this space for a while on the Appian product side, the document extraction, that might not be something new to you, but we've made some really big improvements we're really happy to show off. The first one is a custom document extraction, so uploading your own documents, annotating them, and getting a highly effective model for your use case. You'll see that in the demo today. This really helps extract information from forms like claims, invoices, and tax forms. And finally, the prompt builder. This is a new capability, and it enables you to leverage some great capabilities within generative AI to automate common tasks using open-ended language. And this is a new capability for us, but we didn't stop there. We decided let's create use case specific. So you'll see with the other examples here, they were very use case specific, right? document classification, email classification, document extraction, and then prompt builder. So we said, well, let's help folks get started. Let's have common use cases that you can pick to get you going much faster. So maybe you want to summarize information from a document, from an email, from text, make it really quick and easy to leverage those. Generation, maybe you want to generate a new email based on your common language for your business. You can do that with this, generating email text. And then PII detection, finding personal identifiable information from documents, from emails, and text quickly and easily. These are all great templates that get you started quickly, enable you to hone that prompt for your particular use case. We're making more investments in this area, so you'll see this expand and enhance over time. If you do get a chance to use it and have feedback on use cases, again, we're investing here and would love to hear from you. So while AI skills do give you the use case specific that they meet, they still sometimes can feel a little bit like a tool, right? It's still a capability. Okay, I'm going to classify documents. What does that mean? Why does that even matter? So I'd like to go through a few different common use cases we've heard with AI skills, and especially how you can use them together with other AI skills, but also together with other Appian features to really have a well-rounded application. So streamlining invoice processing, this can be something where you have a stream of documents coming in. Maybe it's over email, maybe it's a document integration you have. These can be many different types of documents. Maybe they're invoices, maybe they're purchase orders, maybe it's an email inbox. Customers and vendors just send emails to you. You need to know what the information is. So then once you know it's an invoice, we can use document extraction to extract the important information. And then we can use Appian's other capabilities to maybe push that to the finance system of choice, perform validations against other data. It's a really common use case we've seen, and we'll hear one today. Simplifying customer support. So this would be classifying incoming support emails. Maybe it's a billing problem versus a technical difficulty. That classified email can be routed to the correct support agent. And then with our new prompt builder, maybe you could pull some certain keywords or maybe even a rough draft of a response or other capabilities, draft resolutions, really help streamline that so it's a more personalized customer experience and a faster resolution time potentially for customers. And the last one, accelerating onboarding processes. You can imagine this is HR onboarding or even a customer onboarding. Paperwork coming in, you want to extract information, maybe that's names, addresses. That extracted data could pre-populate the onboarding forms and also just overall streamline that process again for not only the new employee or the new customer, but for the HR employees who typically have to process these documents. So now I'd like to take a deeper dive into two of our AI skills. First one I'll show is document classification. So we'll start by creating a new Appian design object in the new menu, new AI skill. And we don't see the fancy new dialogue yet, but that's coming soon. We'll pick the document classification and we will give it a name. So if you are an Appian developer, this feels very common because it is. You're just building another Appian design object. It just happens to be backed by AI. You'll secure it like Appian objects. So this, again, is great for particular teams, securing it to admins and users. And what you'll do here is create your first model. So we'll pick document types. So in this case, we're going to try to process claims or receipts. And what you won't see here is complex language or anything. It's just upload some examples, right? So I'm going to upload some PDF files. And what we'll be doing here as it uploads is confirming there aren't any duplicates, that we have enough files, that they're PDFs. This helps create a highly effective model by doing some checks up front. If you uploaded the same document every time, and then when you go to production, it looks slightly different, it's not going to be a very good data set. It's not going to be a very good model. By uploading example documents and performing some validations, we're able to help you create an effective model. And again, I just created the receipts bucket or document type and uploading those, and I'll go ahead and create that. And with that, I'm done uploading my training data. Looks good to me. I'll save changes here, and I'll start training. So training started. This will be asynchronous. It'll happen in the background. What this processing is doing is using the documents you uploaded to find trends in your data. What's different between receipts and claims? Well, by providing examples, this model is going through, looking at them. It will reserve a certain set of those to test it out. So what we'll see is it's saved several documents, and it's testing how well, based on those test documents, 5 and 4 there, of claims and receipts, can I predict the correct label? And in this case, we can, and we can actually test that model in line. So here are some other documents that I didn't upload as a training set, and I'm able to upload those and see what is the model going to predict when I use this in my workflow. So I'm able to upload some examples here, and this is really great. It's a fast way to validate how it's going to work and before even needing to integrate in your process. So we'll upload those, and then we can check the results. So we'll see which class was predicted, as well as a confidence score. The confidence scores here are around 60 and 50. It's getting all of them right, but I only uploaded a very small data set, and I uploaded some documents that may have some similarities, claims and receipts. They may have very similar wording. So what I can do is I could retrain this model on additional data to make it more effective. But in this case, I actually am going to train it, actually. So I'm going to train a new one, and I'll start with the old configuration I had here. So you don't have to re-upload the previous examples. I have new examples now that my customer has given me. I want to try to raise that confidence score that it has. So what I'll do is I'll upload some additional data that I have. Maybe it's different types. Maybe I've received new data from the business. Maybe we've onboarded a new client that gives our claims form slightly differently. This will help the model train on those different types. So I can go ahead and kick off that training. And while that's happening in the background, I can still use the first model I trained and published. And so this is a great way to be able to say, which model do I want to use? Which one is more effective for my use case? So in this case, we're going to go to our process workflow. Previously, a person was manually classifying these. And instead what we'll do is we'll get our smart service for classified documents. And we're going to go ahead and delete that user task. And we'll go in and we'll just point this to the AI skill we just created. So in the setup tab, we'll select that AI skill design object we just made. Instead of the user processing that inbound document, we're going to pass it to the AI skill. And on the output side, we'll get the results from that classification. So, and then I have my XOR node. Is it a claim, or is it some other type of information? If it's a claim, I want to extract information from it. If it's not, I'm just going to process that and just store it in my usual document repo. So what you just saw is document classification. We created a new design object. We secured it. We uploaded documents, trained a model, and embedded it in a workflow, all very quickly and easily. What I now want to show you is document extraction. You'll see a similar experience here. Again, no code, very easy to do. And for those of you who have seen document extraction in the past, there will be some new things here for the custom document extraction model we'll train. So we'll start the same way. We'll create a new AI skill. We'll give it, we'll select the type here. It'll be document extraction. And we'll give it a name and secure it. So we'll create an AI skill, and we'll upload some document examples. Again, similar start. At the top there, I have if it's semi-structured or unstructured. In this case, these are invoices from many different vendors, so they are not very structured. They all have the same type. They all have the same data I want to extract. They all have invoice numbers. They all have invoice dates, purchase order numbers to subtotal tax. That's the information I want from these invoices. And what I now land on is an experience as a developer. I can go and say where each field is, and I can annotate those and pick invoice number, invoice date, due date, go through all the various fields there in this experience, again, as a developer, to train a highly effective model. So in this case, I have many different vendor types, and so I'll go through and I'll annotate quite a few of them. All we'll see is different structures. So that one was relatively common invoice. Here's a one that may be a little less common. The fields are annotated differently. He just says date and invoice #. We don't really have to worry about the specifics here. All we have to do is annotate a small set of examples, and the AI skill will do the hard work of determining where we should extract information from and how to figure it out. This model uses natural language to find common words that come before and after these, as well as using some locational data, but it's not as rigid as something like a templated approach. So really, we're just annotating the fields we want to extract from several examples, and we'll kick off training in a second here. So we'll finish labeling the last few fields on this document. And we'll review. And we can see we've annotated most of the fields for each. It looks good. We have many labels available, right? So the number of documents we annotated, we'll have labels for those particular fields. We kicked off training. And when it finishes, what we'll see is the total recall and the documents. Well, I see 91% here. What does that mean for me? I can go through field by field and look at recall, precision, F1 score, the number of labels we have for that. I can go by document and see which fields were extracted. Again, we're reserving a certain set of those as a test set. And so that's a great way to see how well is the model working. In this example, I'll publish it and go ahead and start using it in my process. I will select that AI skill, and then I will use the inbound document again as my data. And what may be new, or what is new here also, is on the output side, we'll have confidence scores. So since we're training a model, we know what fields we want to extract, and we've annotated those. The model can now output a confidence score for each field. And so this is really important. In the next step is, do we want a user to manually review each field, or do we want it to go automatically in process? So what I'll do is we'll have, is it above a threshold? And it can either just go ahead and store the data, or we'll have a user reconcile it. What's great about the user reconciliation here is this is very quick configuration for you. So all you have to do is pass in that ID for that job that's running, just that document that's running through, and we'll have a user task if needed. So let's go ahead and run it and see what information we're able to extract from this. So we extract from document, and we see that it's gone forward. I'll go ahead and open up the process variables, and I can see we have 99% confidence on the fields that we've extracted, and we see the fields there, but let's take a look at that information in the reconciliation interface. We actually didn't extract the PO number in this example, so that's why it went to manual review. The user can quickly validate each field that was extracted, as well as quickly grab the fields that were missed. You can see it being highlighted as we go through each field. And this interface, again, is using those fields directly from that configuration. So that was a very quick and easy experience for you. You don't have to create a new validation UI. It's solely based on that configuration. So to recap, what we saw, is, especially with those two demos, is no code, right? We didn't see anyone doing any machine learning code, any engineering code. We simply uploaded documents and classification into two different buckets. And in extraction, we're just labeling the fields that we'd like to extract, and the AI skill is training an effective model on those. They're automation use cases, so whether you want to extract or classify, those were things we had previously had user tasks for, and now we can quickly do that with these AI skills. They're private, so you can use Appian functionality for this. We didn't have to integrate with a third party. We didn't have to worry about any additional pricing or licensing from third parties, and we were able to just process those all within Appian. And expansive, right? I showed you the list of upcoming document extraction, prompt builder capabilities, as well as those major improvements we've made to the existing AI skills. I'd now like to pass it over to Alex Sheknovsky to talk about Sentry Fire Protection's use of these AI skills. Alex?
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for having me. Hope everyone has a good day. Hope the lunch was good. Everybody had some coffee. So let's talk about Sentry Fire in case you haven't heard it this morning. We were founded in 2000. We do Sentry Fire sprinklers installation, maintenance, repair, fire alarms, and also fire extinguishers. And we experienced rapid growth over the last decade, and as a result, we're over 1,800 strong, 30 offices all over Southeast. And as you can imagine, as the company grows, so do the problems with manual labor. Our use case is accounts payable. Not was, it is, because we're still in it. We just launched the solution in Q4, but the problem is invoice intake and payments for bills we get from our vendors. We get about 15,000 documents per month across 2,000 different vendors. And our problem has been manual labor. So we have almost a dozen people manually keying the data every single day. All of it is unstructured. 30+% of that data requires reconciliation with business for approvals. There is always opportunity for missing numbers, missing project information. So now we have to find out for which project an invoice goes. All that means we have to send emails, call to business, which delays when we pay our bills, which has implication to the bottom line because we get hit with late fees. And clearly, hiring more people to the manual work is not something we want to continue to do. So we brought in Appian in Q3, and we went live Q4. So these are live numbers as of a few weeks ago. And the key to know is with 90%, half of our invoices are being ingested through Appian. Not only that, all discrepancies, all questions get answered through Appian, which means we can track it and we can see who responds quicker. Also, 99% of those invoices are successfully information is extracted with AI skill. Furthermore, 87% of all the relevant data is extracted using custom models that Matt just showed you. We literally retrained all the models in January of this year. So fresh, hot off the press. A lot of value in 87% because end users' trust increased in the system as soon as they saw that AI is able to extract the data accurately. But finally, the big one for us is reduction in manual intervention coupled with speedier payments, which means we're saving money and improving bottom line. No more late fees, right? Reduction in late fees 50%, which leads to better story all around for us. Now, I'm going to let Braden go a little bit deeper and pull the curtain to see how we did it.
Thanks, Alex. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Braden. I'm a technical delivery manager with Appian Customer Success. Appreciate you all coming to spend this time with us. I know it's been an eventful couple of days here and toward the end of the conference, so I really appreciate you all showing out, especially everyone sitting on the floor and standing up. Really appreciate it. So I'll talk a little bit about the implementation. As Alex mentioned, use case, pretty easy to understand in accounts payable. Everyone's got to pay bills, got to pay them on time. So documents come in from vendors by email. We use AI skill to classify them and extract them using the technology that Matthew just showed you. And following that, they are reviewed by someone in accounts payable. Current state, we're also looking at straight-through processing as a long-term goal, but right now we've got humans in the loop to review the document data that has been extracted and then work to reconcile any differences. So we need to make sure that the invoice matches a purchase order in the accounting system of record, and if that's not the case, let's say, for example, the invoice amount exceeds the total amount of the purchase order, that indicates either the purchase order is not right, or maybe the vendor made a mistake in sending the invoice out. So we got to work together to understand what the true data should be in the system, and once we work through that, get everything updated in Appian, updates are automatically pushed out to that accounting system of record. You can see here an example of the document review screen where you're reviewing the data that's extracted and making any corrections there. The end result of all this, like Alex mentioned, is fewer late fees paid because we're getting bills paid on time, greater discounts achieved by paying early, and greater visibility into committed costs or the amount that has been spent against a project's total budget. So diving just one step further into the process flow, starting from the top here, so stick with me. This is system tasks. All of this occurs before a human looks at anything in Appian. We receive the invoice by email. Every document that's attached to that email gets put into a separate Appian case where we also copy in the body of that email in case there's any relevant detail in there regarding reconciliation. And then classification happens. This serves two purposes. One is identifying the document type. Is it an invoice or an order acknowledgement? Both of which need to be reconciled against the accounting system but have slightly different workflows. And then the second is, did it come from a priority vendor? Those priority vendors are identified as such based on the volume of business that they're doing with Sentry. They may offer greater discounts for paying early. Maybe they have a strategic relationship. In any case, we want to make sure that they get processed quickly and accurately. And so if they did come from one of those priority vendors, they get routed to an AI skill that was trained on that vendor's documents. Since they tend to follow the same structure, we want to make sure that that data is accurately extracted, especially if we're doing a lot of them. We want to make sure it's reducing the strain on AP to continue going through each one of those. If it didn't come from a vendor, a high priority vendor, then it goes to one of our general AI skills, which were trained on a subset of documents across all of Sentry's vendors. And if you're wondering, do I need to train an AI skill for every one of my business use cases? The answer, fortunately, is no. In our case, we chose to make that investment here based on the importance of getting those processed quickly and accurately. If you find that a subset of your documents tend to follow the same structure, it could be worth looking into. And you watched Matthew show a video of training one of these AI skills. It doesn't take very long, so give it a shot, and you may see. In our case, I think Alex mentioned we were at 87% of data accurately extracted from each of these documents across the board. Some of the vendor-specific ones are in the mid to high 90s. So data is extracted by the most appropriate AI skill. This is where humans enter the loop to reconcile, again, from two perspectives. The first is, did everything get pulled from the document correctly? Is the data that's in Appian matching what was in the document itself? Once we're through that, it's then more of the business reconciliation. Does what was in that document match what's in the accounting system of record? And if not, a workflow is kicked off between accounts payable and the superintendent or whoever it was that made this purchase and is responsible for keeping the accounting system up to date to reconcile any differences there, or perhaps reach out to the vendor if something went wrong there. And then, as I mentioned before, the last step of this is, okay, once the data is all set in Appian, we make an automatic push out to the accounting system to make sure that if another invoice is going to come in against this PO, everything is up to date at that point. Invoices, once they reach that accounting system of record, are posted and paid to the vendor. This is an example of what the case and documents look like as they're moving through the Appian workflow. On the right side, you can see the document itself. Up top and to the left, you've got some status and assignment info to see where things are at in progress. And then in the center, most importantly, you can see the data that is systematically pulled from the accounting system and shown side by side against what was pulled from the document. This represents a vast improvement over the previous state where it was pulling up multiple documents from email, pulling them up on different screens, swiveling between different systems to do this manual comparison that obviously implied greater effort and greater risk that they were going to miss something. So we'll flag if something doesn't match, and then they can work through that in process. And this is all built on Appian core platform capabilities, the same scalability, auditability, integration that you expect of us. One more thing I want to mention before we wrap up and take some questions. And by the way, if we don't get to everything or you have questions you'd like to come ask us, come find us after the session here. We'd be happy to speak with you. Appian, obviously, as you've heard about over the last couple of days, continues to invest heavily in this area of the product, and we were able to take advantage of that really quickly, like immediately after go live, actually. We started in June, and at the time, AI skills were built based on a pre-trained model. So a subset of documents that Appian sourced and trained our AI skill on, that was the one that you got. In Q4 of last year, Appian launched the Train Your Own AI skill, and so we immediately went back through and retrained our AI skills based on Sentry's documents and saw a pretty amazing 25% increase in the accuracy of data that was extracted, taking advantage of that new functionality, saving more time and effort. I think that's all I've got for you. I'm going to pass it back to Matthew, who's going to talk more about how you can engage us if you're interested in becoming our next AI skills success story.
Thank you, Braden, and thank you, Alex, for telling that story. Really great to see Sentry Fires being able to get those great results using the AI skill, both classification and extraction. We have some great resources for you available if you'd like to kind of, what can I do as the next step? We have the Automation Kickstart program. This is an assessment-based approach where our team of experts can engage with you, looking at your use case, helping assess it and make sure that it's a good fit for these tools, as well as helping you understand how to integrate it within your workflow. This team of experts will help you scale this across your organization. If you want to learn more about that, the best way is to talk to your Appian account team. Upcoming webinars. The next slide will have one specific webinar that might be a great thing as a next step, but overall we have some really great webinar and online content available. In addition, our online trainings and documentations are a really great way. There are some walkthroughs. I know some of you attended the hands-on workshop. I think that these are great resources for you to try it out, and I think that try proof of concepts with your business. Again, this is one particular webinar we have that's available. It's a great webinar on AI trends and advice. We have Appian's own Malcolm Ross, as well as some of our partners across multiple organizations having a great roundtable. So I'll leave that up if you want to scan the QR code. I know some of you are sitting on the floor all the way over, but I'll leave that up as we come around with a mic for any questions you might have. So thank you.
Yeah, we have been using this AI skill object, and we are impressed with the 24.1 version of extraction especially. But is there any roadmap of increasing the document type? Right now it is restricted to PDFs only. And also the size limit is like 15 pages, but we are seeing in market there are use cases beyond 15 pages limitation.
Right, so the question is for document extraction in specific, larger documents larger than 15 pages, other document types, as well as what other investments we're making in that area. Yeah, so we can continue to look at how to improve our document extraction skill. Recently, we improved the checkbox and table extraction in particular, and being able to train those entity extraction. As for larger PDFs, that's something that we're looking at, maybe longer term roadmap, just trying to typically those documents, what we find are not structured enough. They're not semi-structured. Maybe they have more natural language, long flowing contracts, items like that. Sometimes those are more challenging with this type of extraction model. And the prompt builder actually has some great capabilities for extraction as well from unstructured documents, larger than 15 pages. So that's something that we're experimenting with. It may expand more extraction based on Gen AI, as well as trying to find ways of still incorporating confidence scores within generative AI-based extraction and grounding it within the truth of the document. Those are some things that we think will really kind of revolutionize how we do extraction, as well as other image types. Right now, we encourage everyone to convert those to PDFs, so then we have a common format to show the reconciliation interface, as well as just being able to process those. So if you want to follow up more, we can talk after. Thank you.
When you're talking about document extraction and pulling into like the natural language model, if you have a customer that has a language preference other than English, so there's a checkbox or whatever in your system, are you able to translate that into like Spanish if they have requested that?
So on extracting from non-English documents?
No, they would be English documents.
Okay.
Is there a translation option, or would that turn into like an RPA downstream?
Right now, we don't have translation features out of the box, but there are many integration options for that. We've seen some customers experiment with using generative AI for that, but that's not always an explicitly supported thing, and you're not always entirely sure if that's a highly effective translation model, but there are a lot of translation services available. I'd like to learn more about your use case and see if that's something we can add. I think that'd be a good capability to have in the platform.
So I had a question about some unstructured nature of documents, either using this technology or some of the Gen AI stuff that I saw yesterday. Is there a plan to feed that into something like this where there can be some user review of data that was extracted? And then 2, is there a way to know where that data came from? So I extracted this little bit of information from this location on page 9. Is there a way to know that so that we can then do something with that information?
Absolutely. I think that we've found with customers that reconciliation interface is pretty critical to help customers understand what the model is doing, where that information is coming from, as well as quick reconciliation, and even if the model missed fields, being able to grab additional fields. For generative AI, it's a little more difficult to always know where that model pulled the data from. We are looking at making investments for our reconciliation interface, grounding those documents, or grounding the extracted data in the documents, the source document, to be able to almost kind of reverse engineer where in that document the values were extracted from, as well as how can we get a confidence score when you're not using some of these models. So absolutely, that's something that we're looking at. In the future roadmap, we're experimenting with it now and looking at it. We think it's really powerful, and we've heard similar customer demand for something like reconciliation.
Really useful.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. All right. One more.
So using the document summary, do you get any meaningful insights from it? For example, account receivables or payable, right? How much do I owe, or how much the vendors owe in the next 5 days? Can the AI skills also do that summarization and get some meaningful insights out of that document that you ingested?
I think that so the prompt builder and the other generative AI skills have that document summarization feature. I think that you could incorporate that in a scenario like this. You could also maybe try to extract the data there. If it's relatively formulaic, right, you maybe don't even need generative AI for that. If you're extracting the total amount and the due date, you could just create a template for those things. So I think that could be an interesting use case, but just trying to make sure it's rooted in the value to the customer or for your users versus kind of the expense for developing something like that and complexity.
I was looking for more of an aggregated information, right? Mm-hmm. So you extracted 10 different invoices, and how do I know the vendors that owe me or the vendors that I need to pay in the next 5 days? Right? If I have to ask that question, would Appian be able to say, hey, here is the list of invoices that you owe in the next 5 days?
We may follow up after to get more in the specifics, okay. but I think that you could solve that in a number of ways. If the data is already structured from the extraction, right, that's almost a query that you could do against the database. You could roll up those things in a number of ways just using Appian's expression rules and items like that. I do think AI could help for some cases like that, but just making sure the technology is needed. I like the shiny, new capabilities, but also sometimes some more traditional rules can meet a lot of use cases. So for that one in particular, I'm not positive if you'll need this, but happy to learn a little bit more about that.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Great. Thank you, everyone.